Welcome to Red Salad Review on our episode of
Screams from the Grave. Oh, I should have queued the song up. Oh, well. Abattoir, I owe you 50 cents.
I can always put it in the background.
Yeah. But yes, this week we are going to do Judas Priest's 1988 album. I was going to say classic, to me anyway. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but Ram It Down. Straight to the heart of this town.
Actually, on the I had the remaster. It has a little sticker on the front. It says "The Metal God's Return," an ironclad metal classic.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly they had a good PR guy, but
Includes Monsters of Rock, Ram It Down, and more. It also comes with 2 unreleased live tracks, which are god awful, and original artwork and digitally remastered. Which a lot of people hate these digitally remastered versions, but I don't know, they're cool.
Well, what I like that they don't did, what I don't like that they did with them, I meant to say, is that the bonus tracks, for example, there's actually 2 songs that were cut from this album. Well, 3 overall, but only 2 that have been released in demo form, which is funny because 4 of the songs on here are songs that were cut from Turbo.
Right.
That were from
I just
Twin Turbo, which was originally, if you don't know, if you're a Judas Priest fan and you're watching a video about Ram It Down, I kind of assume you would, because we're getting a little deep here. But
I didn't know about any of this until about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
What you're going to say, yes. Because I wrote it all down here.
You never watched the Electric Eye DVD when they did that documentary and all that, when Robbery joined? Wow. Okay, yeah, I was always nuts for Priest, so when he came back, I got into it, got the Mythology box set, the DVDs and all that. But anyway, so Turbo, they originally planned as a double album to be called Twin Turbo, and half of it was going to be, more lighter kind of poppy stuff, most of which ended up on the actual Turbo album. Some of it got cut and showed up later as bonus tracks. But then the second side was supposed to be a little bit more heavy metal, faster songs, more straight up guitar instead of just synths, like Judas Priest is known for. But Columbia did not believe they could successfully sell a double album, and probably right, but they made another bad decision that I think would have made that their best-selling album ever, even though it sold well. Turbo, that is.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, originally they were commissioned to add Reckless to the Top Gun soundtrack instead of Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. They viewed a rough cut of the movie, thought it would be a box office flop, and said no.
Wow.
And then they later reversed that decision on this album, Ram It Down, by agreeing to do Johnny Be Good, which is an abomination, but we will get to that shortly.
Yes, we will. Oh, my God. But yeah, like I said, I didn't know nothing about that double thing until I was just reading up some information on this album, and then also finding out there's so many. Well, there's like 3 other songs that were cut from it, like you said before. So
yeah,
and then they're released on the other remasters too, which is kind of weird because they put them on older albums. Why not just release them on this album as the bonus tracks?
And what's funny is, as they've done like these expanded releases since they've been remastered again, all these other live tracks show up from these eras where they shoved these extra Ram It Down songs on. It's like, why didn't you just put it at the end of Ram It Down and put the live song? It's stupid.
Yeah. Unless maybe there wasn't enough room. I don't know. I don't know if this.
I don't know. It could have totally been a record company decision. I don't know, but that's one thing that always really annoyed me about those remasters.
Yeah. What they really should have just did, and we talk about this a lot, is just put out the regular album the way it's supposed to be, and then make another disc or 2 or whatever of all the bonus tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Make a special box set out of it or whatever, and then they can all just be happily on one thing.
Yeah.
Instead of messing up the flow of an album,
Yeah, but it's annoying.
It is annoying, but yeah, when you want to do this show and you mention this album, I really dreaded doing this one.
And I love it. I mean, granted, it still ranks in the middle of their catalog for me. Like, I like it a lot, but I don't think it's their best album either.
No.
It definitely has some issues, and that's one thing I was going to say is, honestly, I think it worked better for them splitting it up because some of their weakest material they ever put out is on both Turbo and Ram It Down, and I think if it would have been a double LP, it would have completely sank because it would have just been too long.
Yeah. And also, too, I was reading how they were going to break the album up. It was going to be like you, I think you said it before, it was going to be like slower songs on one side and then heavier songs on the other, and that would have just been like really bad.
Yeah, you know? It would have flowed weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked. Not at all. But the other thing about this album is this is Dave Holland's last album with Judas Priest. But
although the majority of it is actually played by a drum machine.
Right. You didn't let me get to that. I was getting to that. From listening to this album today, and I'm remembering that, you know, most of it is a drum machine. I'm trying to figure out which songs are not. I can kind of tell which feel more like a live drummer than the a machine. And there's probably maybe like 3 songs that sound like a real drummer on here. So I don't think he really recorded that much.
No, I know Hard as Iron is one where that you can tell on that one it's a real drummer. I mean, he's still playing an electronic kit, but it's not a machine.
Yeah, and Blood Red Skies, you can tell that's the real drummer on there.
Yeah,
but there's really not that many that sound like really real drums on here, which don't matter anyway. I mean, it's fine with the electronic drums. It works for this album. Usually I get annoyed with that shit, but for me it works.
It does work. I think it would benefit from the real drums on the whole album because there's a couple songs here that could just use that extra push, even though I already like them. But, for the most part, despite the big wet 80s production, it works with it, and I think it actually kind of blends in a little bit because of that. So it's not as noticeable. There's couple songs where they really highlight the drum beat, and it's like, okay, now that fucking sounds bad. You should not have isolated the Roland TR-80. That's
you didn't want to do that. But and also it's the last album for a while with Tom Allom as the producer. He wouldn't come back until later, until 2009, The Touch of Evil live, and then he came back in 2018 and did Firepower.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Colonel, Tom Allom.
Yep. So I don't know. You want to start?
Sure.
Let's start.
I really like this one. You know, one of the things about Turbo is even though there are a couple songs that are fairly faster and rock pretty good, they really did go synth heavy on that, and it didn't feature as much of the dueling guitars or as many riffs as they did previously, and they definitely bring it back here, and a pretty good effect. And I don't know, Rob sounds a little bit more animated on this one to me too, but also in reading his biography, finding out what was actually going on in his personal life during the recording of Turbo, I'm amazed he even made the album at all. So,
like what?
Yeah. Well, first of all, he had a really bad cocaine addiction at the time, but also his partner at the time shot himself in front of Rob right before they started writing that album, and he just said he was in a really bad hole of depression and drugs when they were doing that whole thing. And he said, well, he thinks it has quality songs. He doesn't think it's their best album, but he says he was really looking for happiness at the time. So he wanted to write happy music. And, if it served his purpose for him and helped him heal, cool.
Yeah.
I still think most of it sucks, but I can respect it.
Yeah, especially like you said, he's all that troubling shit happening. You can't really expect him to write, a great album. So
no, but I mean,
sometimes it works in another way.
Yeah, the fact that he could just get one classic off in Reckless is amazing in its own right, because I really do think that's the two-halves song from that album.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. But Yeah, one thing I like about this album is how it starts off with Halford's scream. You know, that makes you
Oh
feel like, all right,
yeah,
this album's going to be good. You know,
almost
and
echoes the riffs from the beginning of the Hellion. It sounds like they're back.
right, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Until you hear the the fucking drum machine come in, and I'm like, oh fuck. But the song's cool anyway. You know, it's a very fast, heavy song. Great way to start off the album. And then they do that little change up thing right before the chorus where he sings that line, "We are together now."
Yeah.
You know that part where it changes up.
Standing up, we are together
Yeah,
now. He does the drum run, and it's a little more melodic.
yeah, yeah. I love that part.
I like that a lot. You know, it's funny because I was thinking about that when I was listening to this earlier. I was like, you know, that's actually a really cool idea to like do in a anthem type song like that. Surprised more people don't, but
yeah, it just came out of nowhere. But it was a cool little shock there, and leads into that solo, and you know, there's a lot of cool parts in this song. It's a very good opening for the album. You know.
oh yeah,
And
it's a great solo too.
yeah. And even the next song, Heavy Metal, it's another great sounding classic Priest catchy chorus.
Heavy Metal's one of my favorite songs they ever did. When the power chords come crashing down. The only
like
thing
phone.
that yeah, that actually worked out perfectly right when I said that. But the only thing that kind of messes it up for me is, again, this is one that could benefit from having real drums on it.
Yeah.
Just because I think it would give it more power, but you know, just a clean shredding guitar from KK and Glenn, you know, they might use a little vibrato and stuff like that, but the synths are gone. They sound back and really strong.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing too, I noticed the bass sound too, along with the drums, just sounds kind of fake. And the intro,
Yeah,
it's very weird, almost like a keyboard type bass sound.
Yeah, it's strange. It's like he was playing a bass synthesizer instead of an actual bass guitar.
Yeah. Which it possibly could have been, you know.
It could be. It sounds strange on some songs. Yeah.
Because it's too. I don't know what. I'm trying to think like the word for it. Just too abrupt, like abrupt stops. You know, like you wouldn't play a bass like that in a way.
No,
it's weird. But regardless, it's still a cool song. Once the song gets in there, awesome chorus. It's a heavier version of a classic Priest song, I think.
Oh yeah, me too.
Then it gets into Love Zone, freaking terrible song. It almost sounds like a rejected Aerosmith song because there's that one guitar part that's like sounds like. I know this song came after this album, but sounds like Love in an Elevator. There's like that little guitar part in there.
The song I was actually going to say is what Love in an Elevator kind of sounds like they ripped themselves off to me, but
right.
I know the part you're talking about, and it sounds like Sweet Emotion.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
So they ripped themselves off 3 times, and then I guess, So I guess Priest did take it from Aerosmith then, because I forgot about that.
Yeah, this it's catchy. I really, really like the 2 or 3 main riffs in this song. They're really catchy and powerful, but it's just kind of lame, man.
It is. It's just the lyrics.
I mean, I really want to like it more, but exactly. and well, the thing that really sucks is, you know, he's not singing anything super interesting during the chorus. He doesn't really do anything different vocally or any higher pitched harmonies like something he did on Beyond the Realms of Death. But the whole band, when the chorus kicks in, just goes to just super boring, basic single notes almost. It's like, why stop that killer riff just for him to go, whoa, love zone.
Yeah.
You are burning me or touching me, whatever the fuck he says.
Whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a good song.
I mean, I'd pick it over Bon Jovi and some other crap like that, but it doesn't really do it for me as a Priest song. I can have it on in the background if I have to listen to this on vinyl. Like, I don't hate it that much where I'd skip over it, but it's definitely one of their weaker tracks.
I'd probably scratch it off the CD. Come and Get It, that's another one. To me, total garbage.
I love Come and Get It, dude. Turn it up! Burn it down! Oh, dude, that is such a great chorus, how it goes from the melodic sing-song part, and then that riff gets chunkier, and then he starts singing, "If you want it," and he does his little Rob trying to be demonic voice, "Come and get it," when he sings it a little deeper. Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
I love that song. That's one of the best ones on here.
Don't do nothing for me. Hard as Iron. Finally, we get back to some really cool Maiden song. Starts off real quick with the double bass and the fast guitars. Again, another really singable, fun chorus. It's a very upbeat song. And the one thing I noticed on this one is the bass is it's like almost non-existent in this song.
This one, you can tell. I mean, Ram It Down, you can't, because I think they reworked. I've never heard the demo from the Turbo sessions, but that definitely sounds like this album. But Hard as Iron, which is one of the leftovers from Turbo that they didn't record, the transitions in this song are kind of weird. Yeah. When it goes from the song to the chorus. Right. It's like they rewrote the beginning and the end and the bridge part to fit the heavier style, but they left the chorus intact from Turbo. It's weird because the chorus especially is when it seems like the bass just leaves.
Yeah.
I like this song a lot. I listened to this album a lot over the past week, and that was just something I noticed where I was kind of like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, because I've heard this song 1,000 times, but I didn't really pay that close of attention to it. And I'm listening again today. I'm like, where the hell's the bass? Just like gone.
Yeah, I know they're supposed to be done for good, but I would love to hear them redo this now with Scott Travis in their current style.
Who's done?
Judas Priest.
They're not done.
I thought they were finished after the Epitaph World Tour and all that bullshit.
They just released Firepower. They did the Epitaph tour was because of oh God, what was that? I think that was because of KK.
I'm not thinking of the Epitaph tour. Never mind. Whatever. Anyway.
and then it was just on the news before that they just almost completed a new album, so they're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, point is, Rob, Glenn, I doubt any of you are watching. Andy, redo it with Scott on drums. Yeah. B-side, whatever. Doesn't have to be on an album, but this is a great song. And also bring some of this stuff back in concert.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised, because that was another thing I was reading. A lot of these songs were not played after this album was released. There was like maybe a couple songs here and there.
The only two recently, that have been...
They almost recently, like I think when Ripper was in the band, then they brought like Blood Red Skies, but they didn't play any of this stuff for like a long time.
No, the only time they've played any of it since Rob has been back in the band is they did Blood Red Skies on the Epitaph tour, and then what's Redeemer of Souls? Is that what that album's called? One of the newer ones. Yep. Yeah, they did I'm a Rocker on that tour.
Yeah. All right, so then we get to Blood Red Skies. Probably my second favorite Judas Priest song ever.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say that, and granted, I do like this song. It is an epic, but kind of feels like them resting on their laurels and just writing what you would expect to come from a Priest epic. I don't like it as much as The Sinner. I don't like it as much as Beyond the Realms of Death, you know.
I get it. Well, my reason is because I believe it's either the first or second Judas Priest song I ever heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, because it was, my friend gave me like this mixtape and had all these songs on it. This is back before I really even got into metal, just as I was getting into metal. This song on this compilation made me get into metal. And
cool.
some reason or another, I never bought any Judas Priest albums, but I always liked this song. And then later on, when I finally went into their discography, I finally, was able to figure out what song that was that I heard, and it was this one. And it's always been my favorite because I was always remember having that song in the back of my head and I always wanted to hear it again. I was, happy to hear it. But yeah, that's why it's probably one of my favorites. But it's a great song. Just the way it starts off, like the wind in the background, and it starts off slow and like that acoustic intro, and then it builds up, and it's just there's a lot of build up.
And then the drum sound just ruins everything it built up to.
A little bit, but it's okay.
It sounds like someone's beating on a wet cardboard box.
But I don't know. I don't mind that in this song. It sounds good. It works with this song for me. But I think there are real drums in this one, honestly. You don't think so?
You can tell.
You don't think so?
Dude, listen to that first drum piece.
Yeah, I know. In the first, I was thinking that too.
That's clearly a drum machine, I think.
It might be. What else did I write here? Oh yeah, it almost sounds like something Maiden would have done on Somewhere in Time, like especially with the heavy keyboards. Yeah, because this is back in the same round.
Sonically, it's similar, but I think Maiden would have done something much more interesting over a nearly 8-minute length.
They would have, obviously, but just with the
I mean,
keyboard.
I do like this song, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But, just a really great, catchy, really powerful build-up. Really, just a great song. I love this song. Sorry.
It's a good one. Probably my 5th favorite from here.
From just this album or in general?
From this album. Honestly, my top 10 Priest songs would probably all be from before 1981.
We were talking about this before, actually, when we started the show. I'm a Rocker. To me, that's a throwaway
song.
It's a throwaway for me.
I'm a rocker. Oh. I do what... Okay, never mind. I'm going to stop singing it because the lyrics are actually pretty fucking stupid, but...
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Nah, this is a real good, build-up type anthem here, too, I think. I mean, it's not an epic like Blood Red Skies, but this is a great song. It has a great solo, too.
Yeah. It's a shame. Like the end of this album for me, it's just a total clunker. Love You to Death. That's another reject. It sounds like a reject from Asylum off a Kiss album.
Well, Love You to Death is a leftover track from Turbo, and that's one of the ones I was talking about where you can kind of hear it and it just almost stops the song dead, but it sounds like such a jumble of just Priest taking ideas they've done previously, and it sounds like, oh, well, we started with this. Oh, that didn't work. Fuck it, leave it in. We'll switch to this. Oh, well, that didn't really work. Maybe we should make it sound like Defenders, and then they finally decide, well, whatever. We'll just make it sound like Turbo. It's very cobbled together, and I don't care for it. One thing I did want to say about the atrocious cover of Johnny Be Good, though, I really wish they would. Yeah, and it actually comes before Love You to Death.
When I wrote my notes here, it was in my intro, but all right.
I wish they would have just released it as a single or an EP or something and left it off the album and left the song Thunder Road on here in its place because Thunder Road, even though it was cut, which you can hear on the remaster of Point of Entry, if anyone's curious, I think is a great song. And they should have left it on there. But what's funny is I noticed listening to Johnny Be Good, because I actually listened to it today, and I usually skip it. They kept most of the rhythm track from Thunder Road intact.
Really?
During parts of Johnny Be Good. Yeah. Listen to Thunder Road and then listen to their version of Johnny Be Good afterwards. There's a couple guitar licks in there and stuff, too. Huh. But anyway, horrible cover.
It is a very horrible cover. Yeah, that's what I wrote too. That was when we wanted to do this album. That was the one reason why I did not want to listen to this is because Johnny Be Good. It's such a brutal fucking song. And then to find out, I didn't notice either. It was the first single released off of this album because that stupid movie, the Johnny Be Good movie.
Yep.
And that's probably what killed his album. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it was the first single, and it was the most advertised one, because even though I think, would they release the title track as a single? Maybe. Or it might have been Blood Red Skies. Anyway, they did it too late in the year. When you do that cover song and it bombs, and it's the first single off the record, and you're not hot on the heels of it with something else, the album was pretty much dead. I think this one did go gold, but They had been on a platinum streak before this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. They're just the wrong band to cover that song. It's not a metal song, you know. I can see AC/DC doing it, no problem.
AC/DC, Budgie could have done it.
Anybody but Judas
You know,
Priest. That's not good. And then finally we get to the last song, Monsters of Rock. I'm assuming
Monsters of Rock.
You do? It doesn't do anything. I'm assuming they wrote this that had something to do with the Monsters of Rock concert. You know, because of the lyrics. I can just get it out of that. I don't know. Is that true?
I didn't find anything to confirm that, but I think so.
Yeah, it has to
that's
be.
what it sounds like lyrically, yeah.
But it's just very repetitive. Doesn't do nothing. It's a letdown of a closing track to me for the album. So
honestly, this is this is probably their closing track of the stuff with Rob that I like the least. Next to Heavy Duty Defenders of the Faith. That's another one that just does nothing.
They really don't have good enders. There's not many good enders. I mean, there's a few, but it's not that many. We got Loch Ness later on when they came back. They had that Loch Ness song, and there's a lot of shitty enders.
And the reason I cut the Ripper stuff out of there is because I hate Demolition. There isn't a single redeeming song on that album. But
is it that album or the one before that? The last song is good. I think it's that album.
Cathedral Spires on Jugulator. That's an awesome song.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But ending tracks that I like a lot, Hero's End from Stained Class.
Yeah.
That's a great one. But anyway, we're not talking about Stained Class again.
No, I wouldn't even know. I have to get the albums and look at them. But yeah, as far as Ram It Down goes, it's a terrible ending for the album for me, and just sums up the whole album. You know, kind of disappointing.
And again, with Monsters of Rock, the bonus track that ended up on the Stained Class remaster, oddly enough, Fire Burns Below, is a little boring, but isn't that bad of a song. I wouldn't have minded if the album ended with that after Love You to Death, because it's a little bit more interesting than Monsters of Rock is. The second side of this record after I'm a Rocker just kind of fades into obscurity. It's a little weird because the first half of it, even though I'm not a big fan of Love Zone, it's a good song. It's catchy. But after I'm a Rocker, they just seem to lose it a little bit. It's weird.
It's a shame. But that's what happened, and this album was very poorly received, and it shows why. And
although it is a return, to form of sorts for them after Turbo.
On some songs, yes. Yeah. But still, it's a clunker in their discography, so for me, anyway. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'm going to give it a 6.
I'd give it a 7.5, maybe a 7. Yeah, 7.5 I could live with, because I do, take 2 songs. Yeah, I'm good with 7.
You only hate 2 songs? I hate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The only song I actually hate is Johnny Be Good. I can listen to this thing all the way through and enjoy it. Well, except to be Monsters of Rock, but it's the last song, so I can always stop it after Love You.
You could always just stop it.
But no, I think this is a lost record for them, really. There's a lot here that fans would appreciate it, and I think it deserves to be reevaluated because it's a pretty good record.
It's decent. It's not. If you don't know Judas Priest and you're just getting into Judas Priest, do not start with Ram It Down. All right, it's okay. It's not their best. It's got some cool songs, like we said, but you like it more than I do, and I don't know why, but
because it's pretty damn good.
It's all right, but Ram It Down.
And also, I spent like a whole summer looking for this record at one point in time because it was so fucking hard to find. So when I finally found it, I listened to it constantly. So maybe a little bit of nostalgia, but
of course,
yeah.
Yeah.
Ram It Down is just a good record, though. I like it better than some of their other stuff from the classic period.
Well, I don't know how that is even possible.
Well, it's definitely a better album than Turbo, and Better than Sin After Sin, too.
Yeah, Sin After Sin.
As a playthrough. Yeah.
But, all right, so that's Ram It Down. Are we good? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we're good. Nope,
right.
That's it. Just, you should, if you're a Priest fan and you haven't heard the whole thing, you should check it out. And, if you're just getting into them, look up Heavy Metal or Blood Red Skies or Ram It Down on YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah, they're all there. Good stuff. Most of it, anyway. But you can check us out, ratsaladreview.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Amazon Music. And if you have a Alexa, all you got to do is say, Alexa, play Rat Salad Review. And we come right up. Isn't that pretty cool?
That is cool. Yeah, that's cool. I won't get into a digital assistant rant here. But,
no, I don't own one. I don't want one.
Although it is kind of funny you mentioned that on the show of the band that did the song Electric Eye.
Yeah, I know, right?
Except now it'd be, I'm in your living room.
Yeah, that shit's scary. I don't have one, so I won't get one. But my father has one, so then I had to try it out. So it does work. So we are there. It does play. It starts from the last episode we uploaded, so it just kind of goes backwards, I guess.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you do that, we're on there. And where else? Oh, YouTube. Please subscribe to YouTube. We are growing every day, so please add to that subscription.
Yeah, go and watch a Ram It Down video and subscribe to us at the same time.
That's right. That's all you got to do. We are here. We have plenty of more shows to come, and we will see you guys next time.
And message us on Facebook if there's an obscure album or one you think deserves to be reevaluated from a band you love, and we'll do it on Screams from the Grave.
That's right.
Except for Load and Reload. You guys can fuck off with that, so don't even suggest it.
We'll be doing that.
I quit.
No, I won't do that to you. Oh, won't I? See you guys next time. Write in the comments, too, on YouTube if you want. Or anywhere. Write comments to us anywhere. And Facebook, iTunes, not iTunes, Twitter.
Yeah. Think we're wrong. Think we're right.
That's right.
Let's hear it. I'll debate with you. I got nothing better to
do. He doesn't. Believe me. All right. See ya. Bye. What?